Hello world, Justin Tucker here. In this tutorial we're going to complete the second rule in checking the expiration date that was added in the earlier video by this set of data value. And so to do that, I'm going to go back kind of into the rules main area here and hit add new, and this one we're going to call it let's see, expiration date check. And there's a couple ways you could tackle this like everything else, but in this case I'm going to basically say we can fire this on user has logged in or user account page is viewed. There's probably going to be better because even if an admin looked at the account, this check will run. That would also include if a user logged in, because they would be viewing their account page, and that should trigger this rule as well. We can probably stack these and just say, if either occur. And let's see, when a user logs in, we're going to want to check if that date field is greater or equal to than now. So that's kind of what I think we need to do. So again, if there's a field that you need to use that's not available to you, entity has field can bring it in, but we'll just see if I can get to it without having to do that. So we want to do a data comparison. And the data we want to compare is going to be the expiration date of the viewed user. Okay? And we want it to be is greater than, and I'm going to switch this to direct input and use the relative dates to say now. Okay? And if that date is not greater than right now, okay, then what? And there's you can take this in the reverse way. If it's not greater than now, right? Or if it's not lower than now. So kind of be mindful of your logic here. I'm just going to approach it simple and say, when we log in, if the date is greater than now, and we'll say set a data value. Actually, nope, that's wrong. Okay, so now that I think about it here, we need another rule. So we're going to need, let's call this expiration date check. Let's see, grant role or role grant. Yeah. Okay. So if they view it and the date is greater than now. Actually, no, that's redundant because when we purchase, that gives us this. So really, we need to say if it's lower than now. Sorry you're hearing my logic on the video, but I kind of wanted to walk you through this. Oh, whoops. Okay, so expiration date is less than now. Then do what? And in this case, we're going to want to remove a role, which is a specific action, and we're going to want to remove the role of member. And let's also add another action onto the page of show a message on the site. Your account needs renewal. Use the membership link, to renew your membership. Can't spell. And we're going to make this an error, meaning show it as a red box and then repeat message false. So here we have less than now, and so basically what we're saying here, and let me see if okay, yeah, so this is just the expiration check that when we view an account page, whether it's admin or anybody, or the user logs in, we're going to check that if this expiration date is less than now, you're going to get your membership role taken away, and we're going to tell you that on the site. Okay, so that's what this rule should do for us. But we're also not accounting for another scenario here, because if you recall in the other video, when we set this up for the expiration date, this is not a required field. So if a user just gets signed up or purchases through the commerce system and it creates an account for them, they're not going to have an entry in that field. Okay. Um, so, well, if they buy through the commerce, the other rule should add the member role to their account. But if they have another way, so if the use case of the organization has another way for users to sign up without buying something, okay, meaning they can just, register on the registration form, then it could be the case that their initial expiration date is empty. Okay, and so in that case, we also want to account for that. So I'm going to add an or um, operator here, and you put it up top and you put them in here. So you're saying that the two things in here, this or that, okay, and let me just save this and then add a condition within that, or I can just add a condition here and then add it or scoot it over. So the other thing is we're going to do a data comparison, or data value is empty. So there's actually one for null. It's asking us what data value, and we're saying if the expiration date is empty. Okay. So if the expiration date is empty or if it's less than now, both of those conditions should trigger removing the membership role and showing a message that, hey, you need to renew. So we'll keep that there. And there we have it. So when you log in or when the account is viewed by anybody, if it's less than now or empty, remove role, tell the user. And obviously in the message here, this is a great opportunity to put HTML and maybe a direct link to, the membership form here. But that is that. The other thing you may want to do is also add an exception, okay? Because you don't want this rule to fire on an administrator. So we're going to say, so now what we're saying is when you log in or anybody views the account page, which I have not done, then, and the condition is you either have no date or it's in the past, and you're not an administrator, meaning everybody else. We don't want that in the or, we want that as an and, then remove the role and show the message on the site. So this should protect you as an admin from getting dinged if you go to your account and you go there and you find that you have an expiration date that is empty. Okay. So that is really the kind of two rules we need. There was an error I said we needed to go fix. So this is create a new account for an anonymous user. So basically if a user buys through the cart and they don't have an account, then they are going to be created an account through this rule. And basically what's going on here is this create new entity. The rule is trying to map information that it receives in the order to the new account information that we added here. So this can kind of get tricky because it'll error if you don't map these fields. And so this is what this is saying. So it's saying, hey, you have a first name field, okay, on the user form, and we don't know what to do with it. Well, and the last name value is also an issue. So we kind of need to look at what's going to fill those names, okay? And how are we going to handle that? One way to handle that is to get this information in these fields onto the order form. The other way is to kind of have these fill out with default values. The other way is to look for tokens that might be in other fields that have been captured to plug these in. So, we've got first name and last name if you purchase a registration, But if you think about it, you might not want every one of those to create a user account because you may just have one buyer buying for 10 people or something like that. Um, so this rule right now needs to be looked at a little bit more for the anonymous new account for an anonymous order creation. Again, the other way to go about this, which is probably what I'll do for the sake of this tutorial, is to just delete these fields of first name and last name, okay? Leave these as simple as possible, meaning the account, just leave the expiration field on there, and not having those additional fields that need to map should resolve, whoops, that rule, and it did, okay? So something to think about and to consider. You know, I favor keeping the account, the username, password, and login information as clean as possible. I've seen a lot of projects where we add tons of fields to this and call that their profile, and that's all fine and good. A way that I think is another avenue to take is to create a new content type called user profile and have it assigned to them and do things that kind of only limit them to create one. And then that keeps this real clean, and then you've got this other form that can have all these fields in it, you know, keeping those two ideas segregated, which I think leads to a cleaner system that you can do more with. So that's how things are set up right now. That we'll leave with kind of what we're approaching now are steps of testing, meaning actually adding products to the cart, trying different scenarios, having, you know, registration in there with a membership, and making sure that the rules we created actually work correctly and do what they're supposed to do, because, you know, the two we just created in the last couple videos here are going, or should drive, this idea of membership, controlling the role that the user has and the expiration date value, and then we have another rule that looks at that value that then takes the role away if it's in the past or empty. So anyway, that's where we'll leave this. If you guys enjoy these, please subscribe. Otherwise, feedback, comments, questions are always welcome. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.